Dr. Nouriel Roubini, NYU, Washington Square there. The race for the White House heating up. Online traders now betting that Obama will take 364 electoral votes, far more than 270 needed to win. Just under 3 weeks to go, and more than three-quarters of Americans in the latest polling say the U.S. faces a serious economic crisis, and most, according to the tally, trust Obama to fix it. According to a Bloomberg LA Times poll, Obama leads GOP candidate McCain 50-41. Joining us this morning for our own look at the Asian implications of the race as we get into it, down to the wire, Frank Lavin from the McCain Asia campaign, former ambassador of Singapore, most recently Undersecretary for International Trade at the Department of Commerce. On my right there's Frank. And on my left, Joyce Lewis joins us from Democrats Abroad and the Hong Kong for Obama campaign. She was a U.S. elected official in the suburbs of the Windy City. She's volunteered for Obama since his campaign for the Senate back in 2004. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Joyce, let me start off with you. The one thing you notice about the ongoing goings-on on the campaign trail, the Obama-Biden ticket seem to be playing it somewhat cautious. I mean, when you do have what looks like an increasingly unassailable lead in the national polls, you don't want to mess it up, and you just you kind of want to bank it and sock it away. But as we all know, you cannot sock it away into a certificate of deposit. Things can change in a dime.
I think it's rather aggressive when I'm looking at the activities that we're currently doing to make sure that the message is out there, the message is consistent. We are pressing even harder right now to see that the points Obama has made about economic growth, economic recovery are what's on the forefront. So no, this is not a relax and slide in sort of effort that's happening now. When Obama has just revised the publishing of his multi-point plan, that speaks to how hard we believe Americans need to be watching and listening right now to understand the relationships that they have in the markets today, and in particular how that affects Asia.
Okay, Frank, you know, the McCain campaign has come under fire for kind of pulling out the stops, going on you know, becoming very, very overly aggressive because he is the underdog, although he does love being the underdog in his 20-plus years as an elected official. What is the differentiating factor between what the McCain camp and what the Obama camp are trying to highlight to the public today?
Well, I think there's no doubt that Barack Obama's ahead. I don't think it's by a huge amount, and this has been a very volatile race the last 90 days, so anything can happen in these last 3 weeks. But John McCain's the underdog. Look, I think there's two points he has to do. He has to be able to articulate an economic message, one that's growth-oriented, talks about how to get the economy back on track. And the second point he's got to be able to do is put the spotlight a bit on Barack Obama and talk about Barack Obama's record in raising taxes, that he's never been involved with job creation, and that he might just not be the right guy to help America get through a crisis.
Are the Bush links, the fact that he is a Republican, even though he's a moderate Republican, is that tainting him, and is that going to be the deciding factor in 20 days?
I think the party in power suffers when there's economic turmoil, there's no doubt at all, and indeed that is certainly why Barack Obama's slogan has changed, because he's able to harness any antipathy toward President Bush. So it does make it tougher for John McCain when you've got a presidency that's got the popularity of the current one.
Okay, hold that thought, Frank. And Joyce, this is a short section of the show. We're going to come back after a quick commercial ad message coming your way. When we come back, more on this. And I'm hoping to get the sparks flying between Joyce and Frank. That's why I'm sitting in the middle. We'll be right back with that in a little bit. I want to make it clear that's just one of the many, many polls out there, and the sampling size, the method of construction can vary from polling organization to polling organization. That particular one by the Washington Post ABC showed a 10-point gap, but others show a far smaller gap between Obama versus campaign. We're joined once again from the Democrats Abroad by Joyce Lewis on my left, and on my right here, Frank Lavin from the McCain Asia ticket as well. We're talking through the, well, really the Asian implications of this race. And Frank, I ended on you last time. I'm going to go back to Joyce for a second here. You know, with this mess on Wall Street, with the average person, the average American's concern right now is their job, their home, their security. You know, the fine print about the bilateral, multilateral relations is understandably on the back burner right now.
But Asia's going to feel an effect of just about anything we do right now.
Which is why we continue to watch this.
Right. strategies that we're going to use now to recover our economy are deeply involved in Asia. When you look at the fact that we are trillions of dollars in debt, that's a national debt. Someone has to be helping us with that. We have to talk about the trade strategies that will help pull us out of that. And since the growth in the Asian markets has been significantly better than in the U.S., now is the time for us to take some lessons there. One of the things that Obama talks about in change is not just change for the sake of change to combat the current administration, but it's to say, take a look right now. Something's broken, something's wrong. We have to take an intellectual, calculated approach to what we're doing now. I realize we've just put out $750 billion and another $250 billion to try to recover the financial industry. We have to make sure that there are safeguards in that, and it's not just, as I heard one of the representatives say yesterday, a hope that now the banks will start to lend that money and not just hold on to it. We have to have the rules, the standards in place that will cause that to happen.
Okay, Joyce, let Frank get in on this. Obama does want to change the tax regime. He does want the people who can afford it to pay more. He wants to change the capital gains regime. He wants to renegotiate or even void NAFTA, and he wasn't for the Korean Free Trade Agreement. Are those recipes for success in this current paradigm?
I think you put your finger on it, Bernard. Obama has a terrific stage presence, gives a terrific speech, but he's never been associated with growth-oriented economics. It's always been big taxing, big spending, anti-trade. He says that he'll take capital gains up to about the highest it's ever been. It's pointed out, well, that always reduces revenue. And he said, he was kind of cavalier, dismissive about that, said, I don't really care, it's all about fairness. But how are you going to help the economy grow if you're going to punish the entrepreneurs and the startups and the venture
Actually, it's the capital gains for the small businesses that will come down in the Obama plan. It's where the growth is really going to occur in America at the level of small businesses. If we have to stimulate the economy, free up the credit so that these businesses can get back to doing it. If you have frozen all the lines of credit and businesses cannot meet their payroll, they can't buy the products that they need to sell again, then how does business flow?
Well, Joyce, let me ask you, how do you say you want to stop U.S. jobs from migrating to China when you're going to take U.S. tax rates, U.S. corporate tax rates up above China's tax rates?
It's not a matter of stopping jobs from going overseas. It's a matter of creating the jobs
How are you going to do that if your tax rate's higher than China's tax rate? How does that help people start jobs?
There are the offsets. I mean, Obama addressed this in the last issue. There are corporate offsets. So when you take the nominal rate there, the effective rate comes
right. We're talking about giving the tax breaks based on creating new jobs in America. That offsets those taxes. So if you are encouraging American companies to create jobs, that doesn't say that you can't send jobs overseas where it makes sense, where you have low-cost labor. So you're looking at the total picture, not just a wholesale dumping.
Joyce, Frank, less than 3 minutes left, so I just want to move on to another salient issue here, and that is, of course, national security. Everybody went into this campaign thinking that Iraq and national security was going to be top of the agenda, and it got booted to the back very, very quickly because of the events which have come to pass. Frank, McCain just consistently comes out stronger on security issues because of his record. He is an American hero.
Strong on security and strong on trade.
Okay.
And Barack Obama's against trade, against trade liberalization.
He's not against trade. Absolutely not against trade.
He's against every single trade bill that's come up with 2 exceptions. Peru
of how
and Oman.
We have to make sure that what we're doing is going to create a foundation.
Joyce, you've got to read your briefing book.
We're not standing on a firm foundation right now. Okay, so it's not that we can't do trade. That would be insane. We have to do trade, but we have to make sure that within America, our trade practices are promoting American jobs and raising the income.
Let me put the last question to you, though. Frank, answer this one quickly. 1 minute or less to give Joyce equal time. You are a long-time Hong Kong resident.
Sure.
You live in this part of the world. Would a McCain or an Obama presidency, with all that we know right now, be better for Asian, for
John McCain has
ties?
spent much of his life working with the Pacific issues, the Asian countries. He knows them. He knows the leadership. He's serious about a positive, stable relationship. Barack Obama has expertise and personal background in one area, and that's Indonesia.
Okay, and Joyce, counterpoint.
Well, I think that Barack's style of dealing with the foreign leaders in an intelligent and responsive way is going to be the key to this. We can't just walk into countries on their terms and say, this is what you must do because we're America. Now is the time to build those partnerships, the collaborations, and really look at what is the impact of what we're doing in America and how does that affect the rest of the markets.
Okay, Joyce, do you expect this upcoming last debate to change the tone of things very quickly?
I'm hoping it will, because I'm hoping as more people are listening, the closer it becomes to the election, the more they're going to actually hear the sense that's in the Obama plan.
Okay.
So that's the change that I'm looking for with the debate.
Frank, some are saying it's a last gasp chance for the Arizona senator to change the tide.
No, actually, these races tend to tighten. I mean, the other debates have not seen huge movements. This might not see a huge movement, but I think we're going to get into single digit for that final week, and we're going to have a very close horse race on our hands.
Okay, now you two make friends and have a coffee upstairs after all this, okay?
Thanks, Bart.
Frank
All right,
Lavin for the GOP side, and Joyce Lewis for the Dems. And markets in Tokyo and Seoul open up at the top of the hour.